Hello and welcome to Undead Gaming News, your one-stop shop for all things gaming. I'm your host Zombie, and first up this week is this year's THQ Nordic Digital Showcase. Kicking off the event was a short teaser for Alone in the Dark, which is a psychological horror meets Southern Gothic reimagination of the classic survival horror game Alone in the Dark, where you play as either Edward Carnby or Emily Hartwood, and explore your environments, fight monsters and solve puzzles, and uncover the uneasy truth of Dursito Manor. The show also ended with the trailer for Alone in the Dark as well, but Alone in the Dark is coming to PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series S and X on October the 25th of 2023. Next up was a brand new trailer for Outcast: A New Beginning, which showcased the combat and abilities that the player will have. There was also a focus on how you'll have to work with and understand the Ulukai people to help best save the planet Adelpha, and it's coming to PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series S and X with no release date yet confirmed. Following that was Wreck Nation, which is an open-world sandbox racing game. This trailer focused on track customization and what you can change on your vehicle. Wreck Nation is coming to PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series S and X. No release date has been confirmed yet. After that, we had a sequel to the 2016 ARPG Titan Quest with a cinematic trailer. Titan Quest 2 is an action RPG, which makes it slightly different from the first game. Titan Quest 2 is coming to PC, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series S and X, with no current release date. Then we had a new trailer for Last Train Home, which is a game inspired by the real journey of the Czechoslovak Legion. In the game you can send soldiers out on jobs to check a town, stop to buy supplies, upgrade your characters and the train. Last Train Home is coming to PC sometime in 2023. Following that we had a trailer for Trine 5, a Clockwork Conspiracy. It features 2.5D landscapes and an all-new cast of characters. You can play by yourself or play with up to 3 friends, in online and local co-op. It's coming to PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series S and X and the Nintendo Switch on August the 31st, 2023. Next up was Space for Sale, which lets you explore a mysterious planet and build places for aliens to move into while making a bunch of money. Space for Sale is coming to PC, and you can apply for the closed beta now. After that, we finally got a look at the next South Park game, which is being developed by Question Games. It will be a co-op game, which will bring the characters into the third dimension. South Park Snow Day will see up to 4 players wreak havoc during their time off school, while also trying to prevent the end of the world. It's coming to PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, and Nintendo Switch in 2024. After that, we had Tempest Rising, which is a classic-looking RTS featuring base building and real-time strategy combat, and the trailer focused on the game's gameplay and story. Tempest Rising is coming to PC, with no current release date, and following that we had a new trailer for the remake of Gothic, which showed the fantasy medieval setting and the types of characters you'll meet in the game. Gothic is coming to PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series S and X, with no current release date. And then finally we had a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game, revealed as a name and logo art, but nothing else. It was revealed to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin. The game will most likely be based on the comic book series of the same name, which focuses on one of the remaining turtles who is seeking revenge for his lost brothers. It's coming to PC, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series S and X, with no current release date. That was everything in the showcase. However, also in the news, Electronic Arts is continuing to shut down its servers for older games, with Crysis 3, Dead Space 2 and Dante's Inferno next on the list of shutdowns. EA's online services shutdown page has been updated to announce the publisher's plans to shut down the servers for those 3 titles by the end of 2023. Crysis 3's online component will shut down on September the 7th, while Dead Space 2 and Dante's Inferno's servers will be closed on December the 8th. EA has been shutting down servers for its older games for a while now, with Battlefield 1943 and Bad Company 1 and 2's online services shutting down also on December the 8th. The move is unavoidable due to low player counts in the older titles, making the cost of running the servers unjustifiable to EA. Only Crysis 3 has received any kind of re-release, receiving a remaster in 2021 that was later repackaged as the Crysis Remastered Trilogy, which includes remasters of the mainline titles. Despite the remaster, all Crysis titles were stripped of their multiplayer components, making them solely single-player releases. In other news though, the 4th Baldur's Gate 3 hotfix went live on Steam, which was a smaller update than the previous 3, but one that still promised to fix a number of problems, with crashes, bugs, flow issues, and companions who keep trying to sleep in. Unfortunately, it apparently caused new crashes too, so Larian Studios rolled it back. If you saved your game during the brief period when Hotfix 4 was live, you weren't able to load your save files until the hotfix was republished, which Larian Studios was able to do within 24 hours after fixing those crashes. They explained by saying, Hotfix 4 went through a rigorous QA pipeline and was confirmed as a candidate for release. However, we triggered a rebuild of the version relatively last minute to change the version number. The version that was cooked was unfortunately plagued by compiler corruption, which was causing certain exceptions that normally wouldn't cause crashes to, you guessed it, cause crashes. Since compiler issues like that are extremely rare, we weren't prepared for it. We should have been, we messed up. Larian Studios said that to ensure this doesn't happen again, all future updates, no matter how small, will go through a full and comprehensive QA pipeline, which includes a global in-house QA team, automated testing, unit tests, and save game compatibility testing, before being released. Aside from the rollback, the fourth hotfix is also noteworthy because, assuming there are no surprise changes to the roadmap, it will be the last one before the first full patch for Baldur's Gate 3, which will contain more than 1,000 fixes and tweaks. After that will be a second patch that they said will incorporate some of the biggest requests they've received from the community since launch. 2 weeks after its release, Baldur's Gate 3 remains at the top of Steam's top sellers charts and in second place of the most played chart, well ahead of long-standing second place holder Dota 2. And don't forget, all of this is before the release of the PlayStation 5 version of the game, which is coming on September the 6th, and a presumed Xbox release sometime next year. Also in the news, we have more from Netflix Gaming, as selected subscribers in the UK and Canada are being asked to take part in a limited trial of a new update, which will allow subscribers to play games on their TVs and computers through the app. Oxenfree from Night School Studio and Mulhew's Mining Adventure are the two games that are currently part of the Netflix Gaming trial. Subscribers in the UK and Canada can find out if they're eligible to take part in the trial by visiting Netflix's website, logging in and seeing if gaming is even an option. The following devices are compatible with the new feature: LG TVs, Nvidia Shield TV, Roku devices and TVs, Samsung Smart TVs, and Walmart ONNs. Mike Verdu, VP of Games at Netflix, said, "We are rolling out a limited beta test to a small number of members in Canada and the UK on select TVs starting today, and on PCs and Macs through Netflix.com on supported browsers in the next few weeks. 2 games will be part of the initial test: Oxenfree from Night School Studio, a Netflix game studio, and Mulhew's Mining Adventure, a gem mining arcade game. To play our games on TV, we're introducing a controller that we already have in our hands most of the day: our phones. Members on PC and Macs can play on Netflix.com with a keyboard and mouse. This limited beta is meant to test our game streaming technology and controller, and to improve the member experience over time. By making games available on more devices, we hope to make games even easier to play for our members around the world. While we're still very early in our game's journey, we're excited to bring joy to members with games. We look forward to hearing feedback from our beta testers and sharing more as we continue on the road ahead." In other news though, Valve has just dropped a new Steam Client beta update that finally introduces a sought-after feature. The Steam Remote Play service will now offer 4K support, providing a series of presets to allow gamers to find the perfect high-res setting for preferred titles. Prior to this update, 4K was still possible when playing remotely, but it required plenty of experimentation with settings and didn't always work right. This should fix many of those issues, and this move lets you finally make use out of high-end peripherals like 4K monitors when engaging with remote streaming play. For the uninitiated, Steam Remote Play is a useful service that streams PC games from your Steam library to phones, tablets, laptops, and related devices. Its sibling service, Steam Remote Play Together, adds online multiplayer to the mix, actually allowing players who don't even own the game to join in on competitive or co-op play. 4K streaming isn't the only new feature that was included in the update, though it's certainly the most notable. Valve also now allows users to resize the settings window, and it has made the back button more reliable when making minute adjustments, like fiddling with 4K streams. The company also fixed a whole bunch of bugs, like folders not being recreated when verifying game installations, and overlays freezing when file dialogues are displayed. Finally, Big Picture Mode received some minor bug fixes, and Steam added support for the Indonesian language, The update is available for download now, but this is a beta, so you may want to wait till an official final release. Also in the news is the Xbox Enforcement Strike System, which is a just-announced policy from Microsoft that aims to make the company's punishment mechanism a little clearer for players on the receiving end of it. The new system is already in place, and Microsoft likens the way it works to the demerit system used in driver's license systems in many countries. In essence, it's an 8 strikes and you're out system, with each new strike tier netting you a longer suspension until your 8th offence sees Microsoft ban you from services like messaging, parties and party chat, multiplayer and others, for a full year. There's even an enforcement history tracker so you can see how many strikes you've chalked up at any time. But some offences are greater than others, so particular instances of bad behaviour will net you multiple strikes at once. Profanity and cheating, for instance, will only cost you 1 strike and a consequent 1-day suspension, while hate speech will instantly hit you with 3 strikes and a 3-day suspension. Your strikes all hang around for 6 months before expiring and can naturally be appealed. It might be called the Xbox Enforcement System, but it also applies to PC players as well. Your strikes all count against your Microsoft account and impact your ability to use features tied to games that make use of Microsoft and Xbox services. Microsoft says even suspended accounts remain functional for single-player experiences and players do not lose access to purchased content. But for the most serious violations, including illegal activity, Xbox retains the ability to permanently suspend all functionality of an account, including access to purchases. In its post announcing the new system, Microsoft said that fewer than 1% of all players received a temporary suspension, and only 1 out of 3 of those received a second in 2022, and that its own data suggests most people are scared straight after a single enforcement. Plus, the new system isn't changing how Xbox moderates itself, so the only players under threat with this new system are the same ones who were at risk under the old one. In other news, Rockstar Games has acquired Cfx.re, which is the maker of the 5M and Red M multiplayer customization mods for Grand Theft Auto 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2. Rockstar said in a statement, "Over the past few years, we've watched with excitement as Rockstar's creative community have found new ways to expand the possibilities of Grand Theft Auto 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2, particularly though the creation of dedicated roleplay servers. As a way to further support those efforts, we recently expanded our policy on mods to officially include those made by the roleplay creative community. By partnering with the Cfx.re team, we will help find them new ways to support this incredible community and improve the services they provide to their developers and players." The 5M and Red M mods open the door to multiplayer experiences that go way beyond the normal limits of GTA Online and Red Dead Online. 5M, for instance, enables the use of custom cars, maps, weapons, and other content, and also allows for dramatically increased player counts. That made the 5M mod an essential part of the GTA Online RP community. The mod had a peak of nearly 270,000 concurrent players in February of 2023, almost double the number of people playing the unmodded version of GTA 5 on Steam. The acquisition of Cfx.re represents an interesting turnaround for Rockstar and Take-Two, which spent years battling the use of the 5M mod in GTA Online. In August of 2015, for instance, Rockstar banned 3 of the people responsible for the mod from the Rockstar Social Club, saying that 5M is an unauthorized alternate multiplayer service that contains code designed to facilitate piracy. In November of that year, Take-Two reportedly sent private investigators to the home of one of the banned mod makers, in order to pressure them into halting development of 5M entirely. But interest in GTA RP persisted, community continued to grow, and in November of 2022, Take-Two changed GTA Online's mod policy to make it essentially the same as that of the single-player game. Simply put, as long as a mod is non-commercial, doesn't violate IP rights, and doesn't mess with official multiplayer or online services, it's okay to use. As for our final story this week, Drew Holmes, the lead writer on Far Cry 5 and Far Cry New Dawn, is now the series' IP director. As he wrote on his LinkedIn page, "It's been an exciting few months. I'm happy to share that I'm starting a new position as IP director of Far Cry at Ubisoft. We have big things in store." Prior to his work at Ubisoft, Drew Holmes was a writer at Irrational Games, where he worked on Bioshock Infinite and the second episode of its expansion, Burial at Sea. He also worked at Volition, where he spent almost 6 years working his way up from QA on the original Saints Row to become a writer on its sequels. contributing ambient NPC dialogue, radio stations and mission dialogue for Saints Row 2, and co-writing Saints Row the Third. He also worked on the Red Faction series and was a lead writer on an early version of Saints Row 4 that was cancelled during publisher THQ's drawn-out collapse. But that's all we have time for this week. If you have any thoughts on anything discussed this week, please leave them in the comment section below as always, and I will see you next week. Goodbye.